This is the full story of our Mongolian adventure. 2 semi-wild horses and 2 people with no previous riding experience.
It's literally the first time in my life.
Hoping to reach a mysterious black lake deep in a wilderness where there's no one around for days.
So good! So good! So good!
But what we didn't yet realize was that those 14 days would become some of the hardest in our entire lives, filled with swarms of bloodthirsty insects.
I've never seen so many flies in my life.
Horses being stuck in swamps.
This is trouble, definitely.
As well as weather conditions that can only be described as biblical.
It's a hailstorm. The hails are like 1.5 centimeter diameter.
But for all of this to make sense, we have to start this journey from the very beginning. Some of you might remember that last year, me and my partner Liisu were on a world tour with Freya, our yellow home on wheels. But a thing that we haven't really talked about before is the fact that on this journey, in perhaps one of the most unlikely places, we met the person that would change our lives forever.
So it is the late spring of 2023 and we're currently in Nepal, and with Liisu we just met Philip and heard about like one of the most craziest and coolest travel experiences ever.
The things we heard from Philip sounded more like fairy tales than real life.
It was 2018 and I basically wanted to travel to Mongolia. I decided to buy a horse. There are a lot of amazing stories that happens when you do this. It was probably the best thing I've ever done in my life so far.
He told us about wild nature and absolute solitude.
I rode 28 days through the Mongolian prairie by myself with a tent and a horse.
About endless fields and true freedom. You know, all of the things that shouldn't exist in our modern and globalized world anymore.
The guy went to Mongolia and bought a horse.
But however tempting all of this sounded,
The horse ran away twice.
then we also knew that it just wasn't for us. Because either one of us had never ridden a horse before. And so, we moved on. Yet as the time passed, a strange thing happened. You see, it did not matter if we were climbing snowy mountains, were discovering hot deserts, or swam in the bluest of oceans. Because in the back of our minds, the idea of riding horses in Mongolia always remained.
Probably the best thing I've ever done in my life so far.
It had become sort of an obsession, and suddenly we knew that we would regret not going on this adventure for the rest of our lives. And so in the late spring of 2024, the preparation finally began.
It's been 1 year since that conversation in Nepal. 1 whole year and I can't believe that our journey is 6 weeks away. We're back in Estonia now, and every person we've told about our plans have literally said that we've gone crazy, that it's impossible.
The people who doubted us definitely had a point. Because straight away, 2 big problems arose. Firstly, we all know that horses are not the cheapest animals in the world, so we quickly needed to find a way to finance this journey. And secondly, I don't even know how to say this without sounding completely insane, but 1.5 months until the due date, and still neither me nor Liisu had ever been on horseback before.
We have booked our first lesson though, so there is a little bit of hope, but like what happens if we don't like horses or...
Well, the odds were definitely against us, and the only thing we could do was to start from the very beginning.
Yes, we are headed to our first horse riding lesson, and this could go really well, or we could understand that our plan to go to Mongolia is absolutely rubbish.
I am not sure how good do I feel about having someone between my legs that has its own brain. Wait, sorry, that sounded very bad.
Well, when under stress, I'm clearly not the smoothest with my words.
What the hell? What the hell?
I meant the horse, like not the motorcycle or something like this. Sorry.
I see horses and now I'm absolutely terrified, like absolutely terrified.
We've made it here. I feel strange.
And then it began.
They are massive.
Our teachers were called Virga and Elise. They are true experts when it comes to landscape and endurance riding. But we needed to start much further back.
Fillibella.
We spent the first 90 minutes just brushing and grooming those beautiful animals, simply to get used to their presence. And on the way, we even made some unexpected friends.
Did I?
Then came the big moment.
If I fail this, we can't go to Mongolia.
For the first time in our lifetimes, we mounted a horse. It felt strange, scary, and sort of amazing all at the same time. I guess we rode for a little more than 2 hours, and then suddenly it was over.
Wow.
How do you feel after your first lesson?
I'm a little bit sore.
By the way, a little sore meant that I couldn't properly sit for 4.5 days.
Riding was actually easier than I thought, but the maintenance and connecting with a horse was way harder than I thought. It's like being a parent and a motorcycle driver at the same time. You have to get along, you have to be firm, you have to stick to your commands, but at the same time, yeah, it's an art.
While waiting for the next lesson, one by one, we started taking care of the other obstacles. First, with heavy hearts, we listed our yellow home on wheels on a car sales page. And then started ordering all the required gear for such an unpredictable adventure.
Tent, mattress, rain weather clothes, sleeping bag. This is gonna be a lifeline. Portable camping solar panel. Absolutely nothing.
And of course, after receiving the gear, we also found ways to put it to good use.
I'm gathering evidence. If Liisu's mom sees that the floor is buggered.
No, I don't mean like this, but more like this.
Ready for horses? As you saw, riding a horse clearly doesn't come easy for us. There's a long way to go there, but we can't go unprepared. So for the next 3 days, we're gonna be on a bike hike, testing out our gear and yeah, getting the first feel of staying in a tent, living the life on the road. Now just imagine that this bike is a horse.
I would like it, because then there would be somebody else doing all the work instead of me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Liisu does not think that anymore.
Cha! Let's go. Cha! 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 Okay, we are not going.
We did everything in our power to prepare ourselves for the journey ahead.
How are you? It's been a week. It's been a week.
And during the second riding lesson, we already started to realize what it actually means to ride a horse. Yes, it still definitely did not look good. But at least we were progressing. Oh, and after this lesson, it only took me 2 days to be able to properly sit again. Even on our date night, we decided to cook food on a live fire and sleep in a tent.
Hey Liisu, what's your favorite date?
Going into the nature, just the two of us. Swimming, camping, making food on the fire, maybe making some music.
Mine is around June 20th, because that's the longest day of the year.
Time really seems to disappear when you are working towards a clear goal. But even after a month of intense preparation, neither of our big problems still had an answer. But this was all about to change when on one late afternoon we received a call from a young and adventurous Estonian woman. For us, it meant a hard goodbye.
I honestly don't know what to feel. I'm happy and sad at the same time, but I'm more happy, I think, because Irma is gonna be the new owner of Freya, and I'm sure they both have so many cool adventures ahead of them.
We tried our best to see the positive in this.
Crazy. She's gonna have so much fun without us. Freya and Irma as well.
End of an era.
Because being able to sell our home meant that at least financially we were now ready for the road ahead. Just a few days later, it was also time for our third and final riding lesson.
Every time I come here and see the 20 horses running around, it feels a little bit weird.
This time Elisa took us far from the stables, into a warm and sunny forest.
Just look at that forest. That's why I love Estonia in the summer. Pine trees, cranberries, blueberries on the ground.
And the emotions we got from here were simply out of this world.
Okay, it's such an amazing feeling.
Touch of wind, the sounds and smells.
I thought I could never ever be a horse boy, but half an hour in a forest.
Howdy.
And holy crap, it's just so amazing.
After hours in the forest, one of the last things our teachers told us was how they admired our bravery. Because although they had decades of experience, then they still wasn't sure if they could handle weeks of taking care of themselves and 2 horses in a foreign country with no one around when things go wrong.
The thing that still makes me a little bit cautious is the fact that everybody who knows about these things, about horses and riding and stuff, say that they would never do this.
The face of confidence. Are we professionals?
Absolutely not.
Can we handle ourselves? Probably not. But do we have more time for training?
0.
I barely have memories of the following days. Everything sort of just happened so fast. You know, the intense packing, pre-travel panic,
Super stressed.
and all the usual insecurities that go together with doing things way out of your comfort zone.
Better not go, because I'm so stressed.
Even the long flight from Europe to Mongolia. I can only recall thanks to the few videos we took along the way. Yet looking back on it now, I can clearly remember the moment when my mind once again became sharp. It happened on the very next morning.
Time to leave the comfort of the hotel room behind. And outside should be a car waiting for us. Sainu, hello.
Finally, the 14 months of waiting had come to an end.
Just thousands of horses everywhere.
Because this car was taking us deep into Mongolian steppe. To a place where our horses were already waiting for us.
And we made it. Yay!
We quickly got down to business of buying horses.
3, 4, 5.
And ended
And
up paying
over
about
here.
$2,500.
Is this the most money I've handed over in my life?
Sort of.
Sort of.
But as you can imagine, surviving alone in Mongolian wild is no easy task.
Rain, 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 rain. Rain will save us. Rain is the only thing that can save us now.
And so to increase our chances of success, as well as to get to know the local culture,
You know, it's a bit isolated place, and
for the next few days, we trusted ourselves into the hands of the establishment we had just arrived in. And this place was called Step Riders. The property is home to around 200 semi-wild horses, but we will talk more about the term half-wild later, because as we walked through the gate, the beauty and warmth of the place filled our hearts.
I'm Joe.
I'm Timu.
Timo, nice
How's
to
the
meet
flight?
you. Timo.
Nice to meet you.
It was good, man. Good. Long.
We were quickly given a room, or more accurately, a ger, to leave our belongings.
Just look at this. Ger. Yurt. In English, Russian actually. In Mongolian, ger. It means home. Because 100 years ago, this meant home. This.
And after signing a paper, pretty much stating that if we die, it's purely our responsibility, we were ready for our first lesson. The horses here respond to two simple words.
So to go forward, you have to say chu.
Chu.
Chu. To stop, you have to pull the reins back.
Yeah.
And then say oosh, oosh.
Whoosh.
Kind of like relaxing to calm the horse.
Yes, we could definitely feel the stress because we knew that our training time before we had to go to the wilderness alone was strictly limited. But come on, it had literally taken 15 minutes for us to go from the front gate to now being on top of a horse.
Oh my god. Can't believe I'm sitting on a horse in Mongolian steppe.
In a strange way, it was maybe even better like this, because given our previous experience,
It is 6 weeks until our flight to Mongolia. And still, never ever have I ridden before.
then we just did not have time for doubt or hesitation. Suddenly we were out there, galloping between the green hills, holding on for our dear lives, because compared to relatively lazy European horses, these semi-wild beasts love to run.
This little guy is so sure-footed. He's going over holes, rocks. My only job is to hold on for my dear life.
And at times, the only way to make them stop is by guiding them towards mountains, so that they would tire themselves out. Because when they're heated up, they really do not stop on command. Oh yeah, and being half wild here
Sanu, hello.
means that every evening these horses are released into the wild. For 16 hours each day, they live without ropes and fences around them. And each morning, they are again caught by experienced horsemen. As the first lesson ended, our heads were full of all sorts of emotions.
I'm alive. I draw first blood.
That was so cool. Definitely best ride of my life.
The horses, they behave a lot differently. They're way, how do you say, less lazy?
More wild.
More wild. They just want to go, 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 go.
But there was no joking around. We knew how difficult the challenges ahead were.
if it's too loose, the bridle will come off. And then
Yeah.
you have no horse in the morning.
And there was just 4 days to learn everything from the local customs to our gear that looked nothing like we had seen in Europe.
Equipment on a horse, from saddle to the rope. It's way more rugged.
But this, of course, meant a lot of more work.
More.
Our main teachers in all of this were Rensen,
If you want the challenge, it's a good adventure, I would say.
Temujin,
Smash the subscribe button right down here. I'll put it right down here.
and Ayoma.
That's just impressive. Omo is riding bareback.
But perhaps just as important was the help we received from Lex, a solo trekker from Netherlands, couple of days ahead of us in training.
This is literally how we spend our free time in the camp. Learning knots, learning how to make them hold, how to get them loose.
And although we did not know it yet, then he would become a much bigger part of this journey than we ever anticipated.
He got him right. He got him right. He got him right. I don't know how, but he got him right.
In just couple of days, we had pushed our bodies to their limits.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. And it's not a joke. I need painkillers and nipple tape before the next ride.
I know, haha, Joe has sensitive nipples. And soon, our lives looked a lot like this. Eat, sleep, train, repeat.
Eat, sleep, train, repeat.
When we weren't riding, the time was spent on learning about our new equipment.
There you go.
Oh, I just imagine I'm very angry.
Or sometimes trying to heal our sore muscles and joints. Saying that it was intense is really an understatement.
Okay, although we're barely halfway through our training, then already we've had a couple of near misses. Yes, that's... Once I actually fell down this horse. Horse! 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 Everybody calm down. Just had a first fall from the horse. There they are. My horse ran away.
That didn't look good.
No.
That didn't look good at all.
A lesson learned. I should have had the reins tighter. I only held the end of the reins, and when I got one leg in and started to put the other, yeah. And that's literally the reason why we wear a helmet. It's not cool, it's not Mongolian, it's not cowboy, but it saves lives.
It was really scary getting back on the horse after the fall. Yet in the back of my mind, I knew that there was no time to waste. And so I did it anyway.
It's okay.
Is everybody alright?
I knew at one point it had to happen. I had to fall from the horse. And I'm happy it happened in the training.
Wait a little bit. Wait.
Don't get me wrong, there was of course many fun moments.
Graceful as ever.
And heavy rock music starts playing.
And of course many interesting moments as well. For example, when we visited a local nomadic family who showered us with kindness and hospitality.
It's actually milk tea.
We got to see their home and ways of life. Or when we got to spend magical moments with workers and guests
Just heading for a little sunset hike.
who came through step riders. Even learning about the local horse culture was a true eye-opener. For example, Mongols don't ride female horses.
Horses here are free. They're all running around at night. And why they don't ride the females is you never know what happens at night. So the female horses at all times can be pregnant.
And they also do not name their animals, as many still believe that horses' souls shouldn't be bound to this world by an earthly name. But perhaps the most unbelievable for us was the fact that those animals are not just fast and sure-footed, but they also survive Mongolian winters out there in the open, with temperatures as low as -40 degrees outside. It was a true privilege getting to know those strong and resilient animals. But as the ending of our training came closer, there was one more huge problem we needed to face.
We just realized that we're gonna be way more off the beaten track. We're gonna be in the area where there's no nomadic families, and
So-
probably 2 weeks in the middle of nowhere.
And our initial plan doesn't work at all.
Our dream was to visit a mysterious Haginhar Nur, a black lake located many kilometers to the north. But as we shared this plan with our trainers,
The way to get there is not easy.
it wasn't looking good for us.
You know, it's a bit isolated place, and
Rensen warned us about the difficult conditions of this route.
down here it's pretty swampy and watery.
Other travelers hadn't made it there this year
She didn't make it.
She didn't
She didn't
make
make it.
The other girl also didn't make it.
due to crazy insect infestations.
Her body, like all over her body, was swollen because of bites.
Ooh, like a wasp sting, kind of.
That's a lot.
a fly that bites, I think, like a horse fly.
The
or
big
something.
And even during a much better year, one of the strongest women we know
Hopefully I can do it. We can do it, right?
could not finish this journey on her own.
As much as it really pains me to say this, I think this is it. I think I have to stop because this is the second time I've fallen and
We argued for hours,
If this is completely undoable,
Yeah,
then I would prefer that we went here.
and finally came to the conclusion that we should join forces with Lex.
We should definitely go together. I should not go alone.
And attempt this journey as a team.
I'm a little bit afraid when you're saying that it can be boggy and hard.
I'm
and
terrified.
Because out there, in the middle of no man's land, the closest help can be days of riding away.
If you want the challenge, it's a good adventure, I would say.
Last night in the camp was full of tension.
This is our food for 2 weeks.
We spent most of the evening trying to pack all of our belongings.
Since our plans changed, we realized that we can't restock and we have a lot less room on the horse.
And as the sun began to rise again,
Absolutely not ready.
let's go.
I'm not sure if they know that we're leaving home. Just heading to go and put the horses on a truck, and then the adventure really begins.
And then, after some warm goodbyes,
Thank you so much. We'll see you in a few weeks.
we left the safety and kindness of step riders behind.
And so it begins. We have made it as far as the car can take us.
Yes, I could spend another 10 minutes telling you how the horse truck broke down and how many things did not really go as planned.
We've been waiting about 3 hours. Horses are 40 minutes away still. And now a thundercloud is coming our way.
But honestly, it didn't matter to us because finally our solo adventure had begun.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you. See you in 2 weeks.
See you too.
Yes. I can't believe that's happening.
We successfully overcome our first obstacles, crossed our first rivers,
Those horses are legendary. You did it! You did it! Yes!
We did it.
and avoided some of the cutest troublemakers.
Riders of the storm.
And after about 2 hours of riding on the first evening, we really thought that this solo trek was going to be way easier than we ever could have imagined. But boy oh boy, were we wrong. Because in just 24 hours, we would be pushed to our very limits,
I've never seen so many flies in my life.
forced to endure some of the roughest conditions imaginable.
Oh, it's hailstorm! It's a hailstorm! He broke the reins, he pulled himself away.
But to properly understand why we didn't give up when quitting seemed like the only sensible option, we need to continue our journey from the second day on the solo trek.
Oh man, we are blessed. we're traveling together with a morning person.
Well, I'm trying.
It was a calm and beautiful morning, and for the first time we got to immerse ourselves into the routine that would shape our lives for the coming weeks. We made coffee and breakfast on fire.
We have overnight oats with cranberries and plums. And of course, can't forget the coffee. That's the main thing.
Washed our dishes and got drinking water from a nearby river.
Not somebody's.
Then we packed up the camp and readied our rides to start the first full day on horseback.
I think it's a pretty good statistics here. We started with 4 horses and already on the first day we got 5. We're done, finally. It's around 12 o'clock.
Even riding that morning was smooth and easy. We saw herds of cows and yaks grazing next to nearby nomadic settlements. And with every step forward, our confidence grew. After a couple of hours like this, signs of other people became rare.
There seems to be less and less houses and gers.
But it was also expected, because Mongolia, after all, is the most scarcely populated country on Earth. And I'm not gonna lie, having all of this beautiful nature to ourselves felt pretty amazing. Green endless hillsides, beautiful rivers. Yet as the settlement stayed behind, a new problem arose.
Just like the other girl told us, the flies start here. There's more and more by every minute.
Suddenly there was hundreds of flies and horseflies circling our heads.
Flies are getting intense.
We had been warned that this year was a true anomaly.
Her body, like all over her body, was swollen because of bites.
A nightmarish situation when it came to the insects. Many local nomads who used to have their summer residences here had to move their herds downriver this year to avoid the infestation. And it quickly became clear why.
Around those mud holes, bees started attacking us. I again had to jump off so that I would take the hit, so that they wouldn't sting the horses.
We felt like piles of fresh poop with all of those flies circling our heads. But even worse, our horses became more stressed by the minute.
Yes, exactly.
What followed was hours of pushing through the pain.
Dealing with one nervous horse is bad. I don't know what Lex is going through.
Even riding with such anxious horses was nearly impossible.
There's no denying it, like the best thing I brought on this journey are those boots. They are used by many nature armies, waterproof, very comfy, and yeah, if you would also like to get some really durable and trustworthy travel gear, then make sure to follow the link in the description of this video.
It's a very unpleasant feeling when your body is covered with flies and they're crawling on your skin.
Yet all of this suffering continued until finally, overwhelmed by exhaustion, we decided to make camp.
Oh my god. I've never seen so many flies in my life.
Around 8 in the evening, the flies finally vanished.
Holy crap. So Lex was wearing merino wool shirt and the horseflies could just puncture through it. And look at that back.
Yum 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 yum.
But little did we know that all of this was just a small appetizer compared to the full meal of problems that was waiting for us on the following morning. The fly situation on the next day was worse than we had ever seen before. The horses were panicking.
Hey? Yes, yes. I know, it's super stressful.
They looked for shelter in the bushes and tried to bite and kick us to relieve their own suffering.
He almost kicked me in the face 5 times.
It's so stressful. Getting the saddles on today, holy crap.
And also the tension between us was rising.
This is very bad. I told you the green part has to go to the end. Yes, you emptied it, and you have to do everything again.
The air was so thick between us that you could cut it with a knife.
We can do this together. Good job. Ooh.
And I'm pretty sure that the only reason why we didn't turn back this very moment was simply because we were not able to discuss anything meaningful amongst ourselves. Riding with such stressed horses was not an option.
Yes. Yes. Come now.
And so one by one, we left the campsite behind.
Come now. Oh, it's been a crazy freaking morning.
I guess it took me about 3 kilometers of walking to properly cool down. And that's when I saw it. My horse was even more nervous than before, since I took him away from his herd.
I ran in front. Liisu and her horse and stuck on a first river.
And whether we liked it or not, me, Liisu and Lex were now also part of the group. And I guess I slowly started to understand that the only way to survive the situation was to work as a team. When the others finally caught up with the group, there seemed but one remedy to this situation.
Please, rain!
We were pretty much begging for rain.
Rain is the only thing that can save us now. It's so bad. It's just so bad.
And then for a whole 2 minutes, it seemed like peace had finally arrived.
Storm clouds are here, flies are gone. It feels so amazing.
Yet as the saying goes, you have to be careful with what you wish for.
Oh, you're such a good horse. Yes.
The rain quickly turned into a biblical storm.
Oh, it's hailstorm. It's a hailstorm. The hails are like 1.5 centimeter diameter. Holy crap.
Horses were panicking.
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
It felt almost like playing paintball with the sky itself. And our only option was to quickly find shelter.
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Come, 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 come. And I'm in your face. Your face cannot get hit. No, it's okay. It's okay.
It was near impossible keeping the horses calm, while knowing that there was no quick fix to their pain.
Whoosh! Whoosh! Whoosh!
But then, suddenly, Lex noticed something in the distance. Something that should not have been there. But I'm not gonna lie.
Holy crap!
These abandoned stables felt like the gift from the gods.
Yeah, we made it!
It saved us from the eye of the storm.
So cold. The hail pieces, they're huge and they hurt.
And once the horses were safe,
Next to the horse shed, we found an abandoned house and we got into the front room. It's still leaky here, but we're not soaking wet. We're not gonna touch that door. If it's your house and you're looking, I don't know, put your bank details in a comment and we will refund you for 1 night stay or like 2 hour stay. But it's so nice to be in a not wet place.
we were freezing and soaked from head to toe. And although it was barely lunchtime, it felt like this day had lasted for centuries. Yet as the storm passed, new problems were just around the corner.
Fuck. That's what's left of my horse. He broke the reins, he pulled himself away.
It really felt like the universe was playing a prank on me.
I can't believe it. This is what's left of my horse.
Like we hadn't already suffered enough. I simply had no energy to panic. And so I realized that I had been preparing for something like this to happen for the whole previous week. You see, from the first day of training, I started brushing my horse. Mongolians don't usually do it. But still, although strange at first, the horses grew to like it.
Usually they just bolt away in the morning. They're caught with a lasso, but I'll see if this works.
I guess I had sort of gained their trust, and I could approach my horse even when he was free. But well, before I could see my master plan in action,
He came back just by himself. We didn't pay him any attention.
So that's good to know. If one horse escapes, just let him wander a bit.
I guess it was just another proof that out here, in the middle of nowhere, we were truly one herd.
So I'm gonna make new reins out of this one here. Wow,
Our group was back on the road by late afternoon,
finally we're on the road.
and although the conditions were still far from perfect, then for the first time on our journey, we slowly started working as a team.
I hope we survive this.
We took turns leading the way,
Let's go.
and even as we encountered our first swamp,
Super swampy. Like really thick mud.
we knew that if the horses lacked the bravery to cross it, then with a little help from us, they were still happy to follow.
This is where it gets hard. Good boy. Oh my. We just crossed the freaking swamp, but Liisu's horse refuses to go. Oh well, my feet are already wet, so I'm gonna go and at least try to save the day.
Good horse. Good job, buddy. What's up?
I'm tired. Just swallow the freaking fly as well.
Finally, about an hour before sunset, our road led us to a perfect place where to set camp. It was located on the side of the mountain, surrounded by raw natural beauty.
How do you feel?
Extremely tired, emotionally and physically. I think my horse feels the same.
I'm just happy to be here and that the day is done.
We had survived what is perhaps the most challenging day of our lives. And if you were to ask me if we thought about quitting that night, then yes, 100 times yes. But why didn't we? Well, I like to believe that it was because now we knew that we can face almost any difficulty on our route as long as we supported each other as a team. But perhaps more honestly, we simply didn't realize that everything we had seen so far was only just the beginning.
Yay.
As the sun started to rise over our camp on the fourth morning, we had completed about half of the journey towards the Black Lake. Yet, as you can probably imagine, after surviving one of the hardest days in our lives, waking up was not an easy task.
Today is the first time I really feel that I don't want to deal with horses. I would just like to sleep in, make some coffee, relax. But this is not an option. We need to get up, deal with the horses, deal with the freaking flies.
It was incredibly hard to get going that morning. We had literally just survived the hardest day in our lives. And saying that we were tired and grumpy would be an understatement.
We're all having a freaking terrible morning today, just we're super tired.
And I just want coffee.
Everything from using the toilet to getting fresh water requires effort here.
With every little thing, every desire out here, there's a challenge.
And so to prevent ourselves from being overrun by negative emotions, we made a pact.
We sort of made a pact not to complain. So when Lex came back from his morning mission, he was like, while I was doing my business, there was only 4 mosquitoes on my legs. And there's only a little bit porridge stuck on the pot that we have to scrub off.
Well, I'm not really sure if the no complaining rule actually worked.
This morning I only had to take 1 painkiller for my back pain.
But from breakfast to readying our horses, we somehow still got it all done. And again, around noon, we started riding. The conditions once again were quite rough. Swarms of insects circling our heads made the horses anxious. And the terrain itself was muddy and swampy. For most of the year, those routes here are only passable on horseback. And slight signs of other horses could be seen all around the trek.
That's the funniest thing. This grass that the horse is munching and always wanting to grab, it only grows on the road. And it seems to be their favorite food, which means that they're literally creating their own open buffet on the road that they have to travel. Like they eat it, they poop it out, and there's more and more and more and more.
But there was also beauty and mystery to this place.
Watch out now!
We passed ancient woodlands and rode through crystal clear rivers.
Such a good job! It was the first time my horse crossed the river first. The forest floor is just covered in lingonberry plants and blueberries as well. In a month or 2, it would be a paradise.
We were surrounded by wonderful smells and sounds that only untouched nature can provide.
Sweet, sour, fresh, everything at the same time.
Yet up here in the mountains, things change fast.
And so it begins. Another thunderstorm.
And in the most unfortunate moment, just before reaching a 2,000 meter high mountain pass, we got hit by a heavy thunderstorm. The rain quickly soaked us from head to toe. And climbing such a steep and wet hillside on a horse was quite scary. For the first 5 minutes or so, we held onto our saddles as if our lives depended on it.
These are literally the strongest horses I have ever seen. Like, holy crap.
Yet as time passed, we understood that those horses are much more sure-footed than we ever thought. They didn't seem bothered by the loose rocks, and in a weird way, it was quite a beautiful realization that out here, on the side of this mountain, we really trusted our lives to those animals. Because one wrong step would be all it takes. On top of the mountain, the cold really got to our bones. Yet once again, the remedy was right there. These horses are used to surviving Mongolian winters, with temperatures up to -40 outside.
At least my horse is super warm and you can put like one hand on him at a time. Just warms the hand up in seconds. It has been absolutely miserable last 3 hours. But we have made it across the mountain and onto flat area again. I'm sure horses will be super happy. And now our one and only plan is to find a green space where they can eat a lot. We're not gonna push them today, it's been such a hard day for them. Swamp and mountain.
And as soon as possible, we found a place to make camp.
Beautiful campsite.
It's absolutely amazing.
In our heads, this place was called Swamp Island. A small green hill in the middle of nearly unpassable wetland. But for our little group it was a paradise. There was grass for the horses and wood to build a fire where we could dry our soaking wet clothes. Most of the evening we spent resting and preparing because we all knew that if we played our cards right, we could probably reach our destination next evening.
It doesn't get easier. Every day is a challenge. Every day there's something new.
It rained for most of the night, and we woke up to a fresh and crisp morning.
On certain mornings, nature really does provide.
The air was full of anticipation.
Ready for another adventurous day.
And so after getting the horses ready for a long day of riding, we left the beloved Swamp Island behind. There was a weird sort of peace to riding that day.
The views are just stunning. Small river just behind that bush. Beautiful rocky mountain.
Being on horseback felt good. And suddenly I understood why. For the first time during our adventure, there was no horseflies.
Hello, Internet!
We were happy.
Woo! Woo! Mongolian cowboy all the way!
Even the wet branches that smacked our faces couldn't dampen our spirits. It was even sort of funny that in certain places we were not able to see our horses due to the incredibly thick bushes. But our joyous mood didn't last long. And soon we found a big river between where we were and where we wanted to be.
This river in the distance is our last big hurdle.
Its water was dark and current strong.
The river looks deep.
Very deep.
Oh my god.
And since our horses refused to lead the way, I saw but one option.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do something that I really don't want to. Because I've already touched this water before. It's ice cold. But I'll put on flip-flops and try to see how deep this river is.
I stripped down to my undies and went on a scouting mission.
Bikini fashion 2024. Don't get deeper. Please don't get deeper. It's a critical point. Don't get deeper.
The water was so cold that it hurt.
So freaking cold.
But thank God, at least the river was crossable.
Round 2 with the backs.
Well, of course it was still quite a challenge to get each and every one of us on the other side.
I can see the red line. There's the cold water.
But once there, it sort of felt like we had made it. This river was supposed to be the last big obstacle on our way. And from what we had heard, the only thing left now was about 4 hours of easy riding. Yet what we hadn't accounted for was the fact that all the storms over the last week had turned even the nicest roads into boggy nightmares. It took much more time than normal to cross those landscapes. And an hour or so later, we found ourselves in a valley.
This used to be the road here, but well, you can hear the storms over the last days have made it way too watery.
It looked uncrossable, but at the same time, there was no way that after 5 days of riding, we were going to turn back just before reaching our destination. And so, with seemingly no other option, we headed towards the swamp. Until suddenly, disaster struck.
Which other side?
Wait, stop. Stop. Liisu, can you go and get Charlie?
No, I can't let him go.
I'll take Charlie.
It was a true catastrophe. Lexi's pack horse, Bill, sank deep into the mud,
Whoosh.
and panic took over our thoughts. It was a situation we just were not prepared for.
How are you feeling, Lex?
This is trouble, definitely.
You know, getting horses out of swamps isn't really a life skill they teach you in school.
Come on, Bill. Here, come on. Come on.
But there was also no one around to help. Closest people around here were 2.5 days of riding away. And so, we were alone.
Yeah, calm now, Bill. We'll get you out.
He's really calm.
We thought about few solutions.
If I open it up from here, what happens?
Nothing useful.
Okay.
Well, I didn't say they were good solutions.
Look at him, he's just drinking and chilling.
And finally, the only thing left was perhaps the most obvious one.
No good. Let's try to lift from the bag at the same time.
We grabbed onto the bags, lifted with all our
Come on,
might,
Bill. Come on. Bill.
and as Lex added a slight motivational smack to Bill's butt,
Good boy.
our efforts were successful. Bill was able to pull himself out.
Good boy. Oh, I got it.
It was a true catastrophe that we managed to avoid.
You actually got that on film?
Yeah.
But it hardly felt like a win. It had taken all of our energy to get back on a road. And next hours felt as long as days. We fought hard to keep our eyes open.
Extremely tired. Can't even keep my body upright anymore.
We've walked in front of the horses to keep our bodies moving. And looking back on the videos we made that day, we honestly had no idea how beautiful was the nature around us. This forest has stood here unchanged for thousands of years. And all we could think of was not to fall asleep. All of a sudden, this very same nature brought us back to the present. Out of the blue, a rainbow appeared.
We got like 1 kilometer to go, and that's the other end of the rainbow. It's literally showing us the way.
And then, as the sun was setting, we arrived. There it was, Hagin Har Nur, the mysterious Black Lake.
Guys, when did you last wash your hands?
In real water? First day?
So 4 days ago.
4 days ago.
But there was no celebrations that night, and our only desire was sleep.
It's a difficult journey.
Yet as we woke up on the following morning, the magnitude of our accomplishment became clear.
Holy, just slept like 11 hours. Fell asleep and non-stop. And look at this. This is perfect.
We had gone through hell to make it here. And what a place it was. The lake itself was utterly gorgeous. Its dark waters reflected the surrounding forests. And to us it offered a chance
This is the first wash in 5 days.
for a rather cold and long-awaited shower. We ended up spending 2 full days in this very same spot. And the lake welcomed us with open arms.
Today on the day off, plan is to make a fishing rod out of this stick.
We caught fresh fish for dinner.
Got it. 1 hour fishing And together with Lex we got like 20 fish. Crazy. There were so many.
It's a big bag of fish. Oh my god, man.
How are you, man?
And spent our days doing all the fun stuff we had been dreaming about for the last week. You know, from cliches like galloping on a sandy beach to more situational things like taking multiple naps around lunchtime each day. Days here went by fast, and having all of this beauty to ourselves felt like a true privilege. Yet finally, it was time to say goodbye to this mystical place. And so that we would remember it forever, Lex prepared us a true feast.
MasterChef gone wild.
For a whole week he had been carrying those potatoes. Who knows, maybe it was even part of the reason why Bill got stuck in a swamp.
Oh, this is heaven.
But one thing for sure, it was the best fish and chips we had ever had.
Look at that. Oh my gosh.
I remember quite clearly that I wished this moment to never end. Part of me wanted to stay here forever, yet at the same time, we all knew that it was our fear empowering those thoughts. Reaching the lake had been one of the hardest things we had ever done in our lives. Yet it was clear to all of us that making it here to the lake marked only the halfway point of the journey, and that our adventure was still far from over.
Just going to sleep early today and getting ready for the adventures ahead.
It was again time for us to start heading back.
Just looking forward for the day when my body regains its whole strength. We've been eating good, we've been sleeping well.
It felt a little strange that although we had spent 2 days resting, our energy reserves had not fully recovered.
Like you're running on 50% of the power or something like that.
I woke up and I can't properly see. My vision is blurry from basically both of the eyes. It's gonna make riding so much harder.
But what we didn't realize was that those were only the first symptoms of something much bigger that would put our whole expedition in danger. As we started the long journey back, it actually felt nice being back on a road. The horses were well rested, and effortlessly they carried us through deep rivers and squeezed between tall trees. Compared to just few days prior, the nature itself was much more inviting. Sun was shining through the pine forest, and moments like this are definitely what we will miss most about Mongolia. It had been nearly a week since we last saw another living person, and riding our horses in such tranquil and remote landscapes was without a doubt an experience we will cherish until the end of our days.
I was preparing my horse for lunch and hit with a tail in my face.
As lunchtime came around, Liisu's vision had luckily recovered. It's crazy to think how our bodies act when put under such stress. No matter if you're healthy or sick, things can shut down and malfunction without any warning. Yet not everything that came with the sunshine played in our favor.
Holy!
You see, for the past 3 days, we had been oblivious to the fact that those lands were also home to someone else.
This is a bear track from yesterday, most likely.
Not that keen on having bears with us, but yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's totally fine.
There's more bear tracks, small ones next to big ones.
It was a mama bear with cubs, the most dangerous time of the year to meet the bear.
And that's the only time where brown bears are aggressive.
Knowledge of this put us on the edge.
Oh!
And we tried our hardest to make our whereabouts known.
At least horses don't seem to know what they're bears. They are acting totally normal, just doing their own thing.
Yet with every kilometer forward, we began to understand that the road back wasn't half as difficult as we remembered. Some of it had to do with the weather, because crossing swamps, wetlands, and mountains during a sunny day was many times easier compared to the storms we had to encounter last time.
What was that like?
Even the stressful parts, like the swarms of flies, we managed to handle better and tried to find humor and irony in the situation we were in.
Even when there's just a few flies, my horse turns quite neurotic. There's no horseflies, nothing at the moment, but you can see the bobbing and hear that. So, to make it fun for everybody, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, much fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Yet weather wasn't the only thing that had changed. By this time, we had spent more than a week with our horses, and taking care of them had become part of our routine.
How are you, my friends? Hello. Hello, Charlie. Billy boy. Billy boy, how's your day been?
It was in a way like being a parent, having the responsibility to take care of another living being, and always putting their needs in front of your own.
But it does get easier every day because you get used to all of the things that you're gonna have to do in the evenings, in the mornings with the horses. It becomes more natural, and it's not that much of an effort, and it's not that much of a panic to, I don't know, get everything done.
And no, it still wasn't easy.
You almost kicked me in the face 5 times.
But as the saying goes, humans can adapt to almost anything.
I think it's day 9 or day 10. I sort of just missed that. I wouldn't have to filter my water every evening. That I wouldn't have to build up my house every evening. I'm starting to miss the comforts of modern life.
So yes, it definitely wasn't easy, but somehow we still made it work.
We rode so many kilometers today. Everybody is just super tired. Horses are tired, we are stressed. But we literally rode in one day what we did in 2 when coming here.
So cold! So cold! Mosquitoes! Mosquitoes!
We planned our routes ahead, woke up earlier,
First thing in the morning, you go and you release your baby.
and took advantage of the landscape that we now knew. And to our surprise, instead of the previous 5 days, it just took us 3 to once again reach civilization.
We got about 2 more kilometers until civilization.
It was a strange feeling, seeing other people after 10 days in the wild.
Bundle of sheep.
Houses, villages, cattle and the sheep.
And we're back where we started. Feels super weird to be in Teraj again.
Everything looked the same, but it sure felt different. Almost like we didn't belong there anymore. We had previously been given an opportunity to be picked up by a truck in Teraj. Yet as we arrived there, We all felt like we needed a little more time to adjust. And so instead, we decided to take the next 4 days to slowly ride back home and once again get used to other people around us. Of course, not everything about civilization was strange.
First time in my life I get to tie my horse to a pole and go to the store myself.
And already on the first night, we got to do a thing we had been dreaming about for days.
Oh, you already had a cart.
Oh my god, we just shopped like little kids. Candy, lemonade, cheese balls, like all the crap food, but I feel like we deserve that.
We do deserve it, and I still feel we didn't buy enough.
And on this evening, we really felt like champions.
Do I look good?
You look amazing, Lex.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. 10 days in the wild. We freaking made it.
Feels like 2 months, to be honest, by this point.
Lex has been dreaming about chicken nuggets for days. And he has his chance. Like, he bought oil and he's literally deep frying chicken nuggets on the side of the mountain. It's sort of poetic.
I'm not sure if it was the stress relief that my body felt after making it out alive from the national park. Yet as I woke up the next day, something felt off.
Shivering tonight for 2 hours in a row. Missed a lot of sleep and gotten quite sick.
I had let my guards down, and finally, the strain of the adventure had caught up with me.
I'm not sure how I'm gonna finish this journey.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I did sorta enjoy the low bass voice.
Far over the misty mountains gone.
But there were still 4 days of riding ahead, and things were not looking good. This, of course, wasn't the only bad surprise we had to deal with that morning.
They say butterflies are good omens.
And no, I'm not talking about the infamous butterfly invasion,
Like an earring.
but much more about the fact that as we started riding, it just wasn't the same. Our routes here ran next to highways. And instead of stunning views and endless freedom,
Suddenly a new problem. Everything next to the road seems to be fenced off. Haven't seen that before in Mongolia.
green fences, brown fences, big fences, small fences. It just felt illegal. How could it be that we were in a country that's known for its nomadic lifestyle and horses, but here it was almost impossible to ride?
It's sort of weird feeling to pass a gas station on your horse, knowing that he needs gas, but yeah, not having it around. There's been so many horses and horse tours in the area that there just isn't enough good grass.
What surrounded us now was the type of Mongolia that most visitors get to see.
Over there is Turtle Rock, a reason why many tourists want to come here.
Tourist camps stretched as far as the eye could see. Hundreds of yurts and gers rising from the green landscapes.
Garbage, garbage, garbage.
And of course, thousands of people everywhere.
Yeah, suddenly there's like 15 big tour buses.
Seeing this side of the country made me a little sad, but I guess this is what urbanization does all around the world.
Another huge hotel being built over there. Hundreds of rooms.
When we were riding between nomadic families just a day before that, it felt like we belonged there. But out here, we were the aliens.
Everybody's just looking at us.
Other tourists took our pictures. 3 strange foreigners on horses.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Hey,
Where are you from? Where are you from?
And handling all of this attention wasn't easy. I was already heavily dosed up on painkillers. And whenever there was a beautiful sight or a temple on the road, I felt relieved. Because while Liisu and Lex got to experience local culture, I was able to sneak in a small nap to gather my strength.
Who are you?
Like $1 million.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that there was something wrong with this area. The temples here were beautiful. And if you haven't seen the wild part of Mongolia, even the views can be considered quite stunning.
Over there you can pay money to take a picture with a eagle. The famous Mongolian golden eagles.
It was like any other touristic place all around the world, with activities like horse and camel riding for curious visitors, and many souvenir shops on the side of the roads.
Garbage, 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 garbage everywhere.
I hope you wouldn't show to me and say trash.
No, precious.
Precious.
I guess we just were not ready for it. In our heads, Mongolia still was the land of nomadic families and horse lords. But when we talked about it with locals, they said that 15 years ago it was still possible to easily ride through these lands. But now, with the fences and new development, they wouldn't recommend it. At present day, about 25% of Mongolian population still lives a nomadic lifestyle. But due to much more unpredictable weather patterns, many of them are forced to leave this lifestyle behind each year and look for more stable work in the cities to feed their families. It was devastating to hear how fast the old way of life was dying. And on the following days, we got to see the aftermath of this migration.
Our plan now is to follow the mountains, and we're trying to sneak by a city next to us.
Around us were stretched out cities, full of people that just a decade ago lived the life of a nomad.
That's the city down there that we're trying to avoid.
It took all of our strength and navigation skills to guide our horses through those suburbs and cityscapes. And it quickly became clear why in the first place we were taken to our location with a truck.
Our last big hurdle is crossing the highway.
But in a weird way, I was still happy that we took this route.
We'll see if we can fit through the tunnel.
Yes, it was far from easy riding.
There's horse poop, so we're not the only ones.
But at the same time, we got to see the parts of Mongolia that most people never will. We experienced on our own skin what it means to live by the old traditions in rapidly developing areas of the country.
As we've discovered, being in cities or even villages with horses is absolutely uncomfortable.
And I'd like to believe that this helped us understand the struggles of this nation a little better. I'm not gonna lie, in our heads, we will always remember this country by its endless steppe. Beautiful mountains and untouched nature. On the afternoon of the 14th day, we reached our final destination. We had gone the full circle, there and back again.
We were really expecting the horses to be super happy, super glad. They're just like, what is this place? Why are we here?
There was no champagne and fireworks waiting for us at the finish line.
We made it home, buddy. We're home.
But deep down we knew that we had accomplished something incredible. Against all odds, we decided to follow our hearts. It was the hardest thing we had ever done in our lives. And seeing this dream become real was magical.
I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. We can let the horses go free. How do you feel, Lex?
I'm feeling very good. I'm very happy to see them like this, but most of all to be rid of them. No more tying ropes, taking care of them, no more hobbles, no more being attached to a fucking 400 kilo being that like requires lots of attention 24/7. So yeah, I needed to get that out of my system.
Comments?
Seems like Lex is not ready for kids yet.
Did you hear that, my friend? You are somebody else's problem now.
He's like...
And I still like you.
He doesn't understand his freedom.
But now thinking about it, believe it or not, I would go back in an instant.